Thank you, Freddie.
Thank you, Alicia, and welcome, Toastmasters, from wherever you are. Mentorship, wow. When I met 2002 world champion Jim Key, I was absolutely awestruck. But I had the opportunity to have a conversation with him, and he told me that his secret to success was having great mentors. Wow, that really struck me deeply because throughout my entire life, I have also believed in the power of mentorship. Now, I know that some of you that are here at today's meeting have had the opportunity to have mentors. Maybe, when you were doing sports, maybe in school, maybe in the community, maybe in your family. And maybe you've had a wonderful mentor in Toastmasters. And if not, what I'm going to be talking about today is how we can take the power of mentorship to grow our skills, to help others, and also to grow our clubs. Now, one of the things that I hear a lot as I zoom around the world like I am today is people saying things like, oh, gee, I don't really know how to ask for a mentor. I don't really know what a mentor is. When I meet brand new Toastmasters, whether it's in person or virtually like this, one of the first questions I ask them is, do you have a mentor? And I have to say, it breaks my heart when I hear that some of these new members that are eager and dynamic and they're wanting to grow and they're wanting to get involved in Toastmasters, they say, nope, I don't have a mentor and I'm kind of lost. So I'm here to strongly suggest, encourage, and show you how to develop a great mentorship program. So we're going to talk about who needs a mentor, and I'm going to share with you 4 key ingredients of being a marvelous mentor. Now, as I'm going along, if you have questions, please put them in the chat, and afterwards, I will be happy to answer your questions. I think Patricia or Alicia will be monitoring the chat, and so I'll be more than happy to answer your questions. So as you think of them, just put them in the chat, and we will deal with it. You can see behind me the northern lights, the aurora borealis, and the ice road. I spent 3 seasons in the Arctic driving on the ice road. I was driving a very, very large truck, and I was hauling explosives. And then on the return trip, I would haul the septic water from the drill camps. Now, I couldn't have been a successful ice road trucker if I did not have a good mentor. Seriously, what person purposely wants to take a huge truck and drive up an ice highway up into the Arctic Ocean? That's just not normal. Well, that was a job that I had, and if it wasn't for my mentor teaching me how to drive safely on the ice, here's a hint, if you're ever driving on an ice road, you can't go over 35 kilometers an hour in a big vehicle. If he wasn't there showing me how to carefully drive from the land out onto the ice, if he wasn't there showing me how to stay on the safe ice, who knows, I might not be here today. So the power of a mentor can, I believe, absolutely save your life. I know it did for me. I'm going to be sharing with you some thoughts and ideas I have. And I understand that they might not work for everyone. So I invite you to just listen to what I have to say and for yourself determine, is this something that might work for me, Or is this something that I want to take back to my club or my area or my district? I might have some new ideas. I might have some ideas that I'm just reminding you of because you already know the power of mentorship. In the introduction, Alicia talked about how my home club grew during our lockdown, during the pandemic around the world when we weren't able to meet in person. And I'm going to share with you a little bit about that journey. So in the fall of 2009, one of our members, this lady right here, who is actually on the call tonight, so in the chat say, hi, Jill. Jill moved from our city. Now, we had been meeting in person, and Jill loved our club so much that when she moved 100 kilometers away, she said, I don't want to leave the club. Is there some way that I can still be part? Now, think about your club. Is the environment in your club such that when people move away, they still want to be connected? Well, at that time, we hadn't discovered Zoom, etc., so we tried different things. We tried FaceTime. That didn't really work that well. We tried Skype. That didn't necessarily work so well. We tried a couple of other things. And so what we would do is we would have a laptop on a swiveling cake stand, and that was Jill's picture. And so when somebody was talking, we'd spin the laptop around so that Jill could see who was talking. And when she was talking, we'd sort of hold the laptop up so that everybody could see Jill talking. Well, then we discovered Zoom, and it started to work much better. So this was in the fall of 2019. Well, what happened in the spring of 2020? Well, in May 2020, Canada went into lockdown, and we could only meet on Zoom. So this is one of our early Zoom meetings. And like many clubs around the world, our executive got together and we said, well, what the heck are we going to do? Well, thanks to Jill, we were already a little bit ahead of the curve with this distance engagement. And so we pretty seamlessly were able to move over to the Zoom environment. Well, this got us thinking. We've got Jill coming in from 100 kilometers away. What's to stop us from getting people from further and further? Well, the next thing you know, we have Toastmasters from all around Alberta, which is the province that we live in Canada. And so we had people coming 500, 600, 800 kilometers. We even had somebody from Fort McMurray coming into our meetings. Well, our club started to grow. This was wonderful. By January of 2022, we had between 54 and 56 members, and we were having 50 people Zooming in to our meetings. Our club was growing exponentially. We had members, oh, I got to get out of the way. There we go. There's Alicia in Australia. But we had members from 5 continents. We had members from all around the world. And we were able to do this for 2 reasons. Number 1 was the Zoom technology. If you're thinking that Zoom limits you still to your city, your province, your country, it is honestly, in my opinion, the best thing that has ever happened to Toastmasters, because it has taken off the handcuffs. It has taken off the limits. I mean, here it is, Sunday night, and I'm visiting with you. Isn't this exciting? So how can we grow our clubs using Zoom? Well, pretty soon we recognized that although it was wonderful, growing our club and everything, we had first world problems with our clubs. We're going like, we are growing so fast. How are we going to be able to mentor our members? Our club has a very strong mentorship culture. 100% of our members have a mentor. Our founder, Ken Levers, who's on the call tonight, he has a mentor. I'm an accredited speaker. I have 2 or 3 mentors. Our brand new members, even before they join, we'll reach out and we'll have a Zoom call with them and we'll find out from them, what are your goals? What is it that you want to achieve? How can we best support you? And the moment that they sign their membership, they are assigned a mentor. So our new members are supported from the moment they become a member. What this does is it includes them right away. It includes them in this wonderful Toastmaster community that we all know and love. So we've got our brand new members connected right away. Well, what happened with our giant club? Quite honestly, it was too big. And so our club divided. So right now, we have a core of about 24, 25 members, and we find that between 25 and 30 is a pretty good, manageable number of members. Is more great? Absolutely. But this allows us to really have a strong and dynamic club, strong engaged members, and also have a really excellent mentoring program and great meetings. So 3 keys to club growth, I believe. Number 1, embrace Zoom, use it. And if you're doing hybrid meetings, fantastic, but you can still use this amazing technology. Have an amazing mentorship program to engage with and include your members. And number 3, have awesome meetings. You know, I've got to tell you, I'm honored to be able to Zoom around the world and be invited to speak like I am this evening. But here's the thing that sometimes happens. Sometimes I'm invited to an area and they either forget or don't get around to sending me the Zoom link. It's really hard to join a Zoom meeting without the Zoom link. Sometimes they invite me and, then I make the inquiry like I did to your organizing group. What would you like me to speak about or whatever? And they come back and they go, oh, whatever. I'm going like, wow, okay. What does your group need? What education do you need? What support? How can I best support you with your club, your area, etc.? So when I have those experiences, I start to wonder what is happening with the individual club members. Our home club has been a President's Distinguished Club for 17 out of the last 18 years. And you know why? Because we don't really worry about the numbers. We worry about the individual members. When you build your members, you build your club. When you're building your clubs, you build your area, etc., etc. So let's do a little unpacking as to some of the tips and techniques. So, what is mentoring? Well, it's a whole lot of things. And it can include training, and it can include advice, and it can include giving direction. But mostly it's providing that support to work with an individual to move towards and achieve their goals. That's what mentoring is. It's not being the boss of, it's holding hands and walking alongside so that the success can be achieved by the individual. In 2015, I was standing on the stage at Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas at the International Convention. I was giving my accredited speaker presentation. And it was terrifying. Now, I had been practicing, and it was one of the keynotes that I gave quite frequently. And so maybe I was just a little bit overconfident. Well, I gave my presentation, the audience loved it, but I was not successful. So, in front of the entire Toastmaster world, I failed. Oh, but what it did is it gave me the opportunity to take a look at maybe some of the mistakes that I had made and to figure out a way to do it better next time so that hopefully I could be successful. 2017, I'm standing on the stage in Vancouver, Canada. 2017. I gave an accredited speaker presentation and woohoo! I made it. Number 74 in the world. Oh my gracious, does that feel good? And if this is something that you want for your future, go for it. It is hard work. It's exceptionally hard work. But when you stand on the stage and they award you your plaque, there's no better feeling in the world. So, what was the difference between 2015 and 2017? Well, this lady. This is Deanne. She led my mentoring team. You see, I had a mentor for Toastmasters up to 2015 because our club has a great mentoring program. But I hadn't specifically looked for a mentor to help me achieve a very specific goal that I had. So when I was unsuccessful, I turned to Deanne and I said, I think I need a mentor. And I probably need a team of mentors to help me to achieve this goal. Well, Deanne and I had been Toastmasters together for quite a long time, and she was pretty tough. She was a teacher. She taught English as a second language, and she didn't take any nonsense, and she made me work hard. But you know what else was wonderful? My entire club were my mentors. Everybody had the opportunity to give me input and feedback, and I would practice pieces of my speech at the club meeting, and I would get feedback from everybody. Some of my favorite mentors during that time, and even still today, were the brand new members. And the brand new members make good mentors because they've got a fresh perspective. So when I was working for a year to prepare for the accredited speaker, I can give about 90% of my success to the dedication and the devotion of my mentors, led by Deanne, who was leading the mentoring team. It's pretty important to have folks like that in support. Well, people say to me, well, mentor, like, what is that, a coach? Is that a trainer? Like, what is it? Well, basically, mentor, the word mentor comes from the Greek, and it's a trusted friend. A trusted friend and a counsel, and somebody that will walk the path with you, that will support you and go along with you for your goals. What does a mentor do? Well, they listen, they encourage, they build trust, and they're reliable. So our club had a lady that wanted to do a high performance leadership project. And things were just starting to open up where people were starting to be able to meet in person, but folks were still a little nervous about it. And in our club, we couldn't go back to exclusively just in-person meetings because we've got members all over the world. So we were looking at doing things hybrid. Well, we did things hybrid with a twist. We decided to do a hybrid meeting where some of the people were camping out in the Canadian Rockies at Jill's house. Some of us went out for the day, And so we had a Zoom meeting sitting in the beautiful foothills of the Rocky Mountains. We had people Zooming in. So we had in person, we had Zoomers, and it was a hoot. We had folks, as you can see, sitting in offices, and we had folks sitting in lawn chairs. It was fun. And how did that come about? Well, our member met with her mentor and said, I want to do something really, really different. So they brainstormed, and quite honestly, this is about as different as you can get. A camping hybrid Toastmaster meeting with 2 speeches, one in person, one on Zoom, feedback, evaluation, the whole thing. We had a full meeting, but we did it in a very fun way. So, are you cut out to be a mentor? I don't know. Let's take a look at whether you want to be a mentor or not. A starting point in my thoughts is it's like leadership. In order to be a good leader, you also have to be a good follower. You have to be able to see both ends of the spectrum. So to be a good mentor, I think you need to have been a mentee at some time in your life, and almost all of us have. So to be a mentor, first of all, I think you need to see the need. You need to see that there is actually a need in your club, your area, your district, to help people identify their goals and to actively work towards them. You know what? I think you need to listen to your heart. Do you have a genuine desire to help? And if you do not, it's okay, right? It's okay to say no. Because to be a great mentor, I think you have to lead with your heart. You have to believe in your mentee's potential. We all have different levels of potential, but to be a great mentor, you need to believe in your mentee's potential and to have some of the skills to help. Well, maybe you're really good at navigating around the Toastmaster International website. You could mentor somebody to do that. Maybe you use a free Toast host or a club website and you're pretty good at navigating that. You could engage in mentoring some of your new members on how to do that. Maybe you are brilliant at table topics. You excel at that skill of conversation. You could be a mentor for that. You see, you don't have to be a mentor for everything, but you have to have some skills to help. Now, what about not being a mentor? You see, it's okay to say no. If you're feeling forced or tricked or coerced or pushed into being a mentor, please say no. Because that isn't fair to you, and it certainly isn't fair to your mentee. What if you don't have the time? My gosh, life gets full, doesn't it? I have a saying that I use with the people that I'm working with, and that is family first, job or career or occupation second, community third, Toastmasters fourth. You know, too often we see people burning out and leaving Toastmasters just because there was too much asked of them. So if you don't have the time to take on the additional responsibility of having a mentee, please say no. It'll be a gift to you and your mentee. What if you cannot offer unconditional positive regard to this individual? You see, we're different people, and it's okay. And sometimes there are people that we are just not a good match for. And if that is the case, please say no, because it's a gift to you and to the prospective mentee. And if it's not a good skill fit, Let's say, for example, somebody's wanting to be mentored so that they can be great at table topics, but this isn't a skill that you have. It's okay to say no and make a recommendation of maybe somebody else in your club could be a better mentor for that individual. So you see, it is okay to say no. So some of the great mentor-mentee relationships in our club, and these are just some of our members doing different things. So what we do is we have the meeting with an individual to find out why they're joining Toastmasters, what are their goals, and then we see who can we best fit with this individual. Do they have the right skills? Do they have the time? Do they have the unconditional positive regard to work with this person? You know, it's just kind of fun when I look at all of the people over the years. I mean, my very first mentor was my wonderful friend Ken Levers, the founder of our club. But he quickly connected me with different people to help me with different skills. You know, we've had engineers in our club, and one of the fellows that was in our club had to start doing public presentations, you know, for engineering in the communities. He was terrified. He came to our club. We set him up with some mentors, and next thing you know, he's doing great and he's getting promoted at his company. You see, when we reach out as mentors, it doesn't just change our mentee's life, it changes ours as well. So some of the things that a mentor is not, you know, like we're not here to solve all of your life problems, okay? We're not a problem solver. We're definitely not a personal therapist, all right? That's not what a mentor does. And mentors are not control freaks because a mentor is walking alongside, not in charge, not in control. We walk alongside. Now, with the explosive growth that our club had, we had to find some different ways of mentoring. Like we did the traditional, the one-on-one, so, you know, I would meet with you, you would meet with me, but we use Zoom. Zoom is a great tool because then you can set up these different meeting times. But we had lots of people that were in different time zones, etc. And so, yeah, we used Zoom. Sometimes people are using WhatsApp for their mentor meetings. There's lots of different tools and techniques that you can use, but we can still be mentoring at a distance. We do group mentoring. We have what we call pods, where we might have a mentor that's working with 2 or 3 individuals, and they set up group mentoring so that they've got a cohort that are working together as a dynamic. We also have in our pods where we have an experienced mentor and we also have junior mentors. So we have a mentor mentoring a mentor, which works quite well because how else are you going to learn the skills? We also have situational mentors. So are you entering a speech contest? Do you have a big presentation coming up at work? Are you doing a keynote for your church or your community organization? There can be situational mentors that are just for a very specific period of time as well. So how do you pick a mentor? Well, it's always good to have that match between aspiring goals and skill sets. But there also has to be that personal connection as well. So picking the right talent is important. The right time. Do you have time to meet? We've got groups that meet at 7 o'clock in the morning. We've got groups that meet after 8 o'clock at night. And the topic, you know, technique versus content. It's important. Being a mentor. This is my friend Ken, my first mentor, and he's here tonight. Thank you, Ken. But he taught me that you have to have the interest, the intent, and the insights. The interest. First of all, do you have the time? Young Jared here in the orange, he was a brand new business owner and he joined Toastmasters so he could communicate effectively about his business. Uh, do you want to mentor this person? Is there a personal fit? And ask yourself this question: why me? Why now? And if you can say, I'm the right person for this fit, then you've got the interest. Well, what about the intent? Joseph. You know, I've been mentoring with Joseph for years, and he taught me you absolutely have to lead with your heart, and that you have to sincerely believe in the mentee's capabilities. You have to believe in the individual, and you have to genuinely like them, no matter what. You know, we're different people, and sometimes people might have different politics or different ideas. That's okay, you can still like them. And then for the insights, do you have the skills to give them that little bit extra? One of the programs that I love to teach my mentees is how to build a speech the Lego way. And it's um, one of the programs that I teach also. But, you know, I've got the skills to teach that. Uh, it's a special technique and it works exceptionally well. And is there trust? Now, I know we're getting close to the end of our time. And what I want you to be thinking about is if you have any questions, please pop them into the chat. Now, why would you want to be a mentor in a Toastmasters club? What's in it for you? Well, we can take everything we do at Toastmasters out into the world. We can take active listening skills and we can apply them at work. We can apply them as parents. We can take them everywhere we go. Brilliant feedback. Where else can you learn the science and the art of giving great feedback except as Toastmasters? And as a mentor, you really get to develop that skill. You need to take that skill out into your workplace. Critical thinking, yes, it's a skill we all need. Dynamic collaboration, how to get along with people. Workplace, families, parenting, of course. Emotional intelligence. You know, this is some of the things that we learn in Toastmasters. And so everything that we do, especially mentoring, can be taken out into the, air quotes, real world. You know, we find Toastmasters everywhere. And here in Canada, we have our Air Force has a demonstration team called the Snowbirds. If you've seen the American Blue Angels, well, the Snowbirds is Canada's version. And they've got several members that are Toastmasters, and I was privileged to meet some of them. And through Toastmasters, they were able to advance in their careers in the Air Force. So engineers, pilots, technicians, accountants, salespeople, no matter who you are, where you are, or what you do, I believe that Toastmasters is the perfect home for you. And to get a mentor, be a mentor, and to find that the marvels of mentorship are going to help your life in ways that you might not yet have noticed.